how are you?
If you're worried about the press, you know, if we can get away with it here, we prefer it here. Okay? But if he really wants there, we got a spot we can do it right away.
Yeah, I think he's going to get the call the last second.
Okay, I'm with State Representative Jason Bartlett from the 2nd District. That is Bessel, Danbury, and Reading. I keep getting Reading and Sherman mixed up for some reason. Why don't you tell me about some of the things you're doing up there at the House? I saw that you worked very, very hard on getting the dropout bill through, passed in the House. But why don't you tell me about the whole process in which you had to get that thing to the floor?
Well, I think we could do a textbook course on this particular bill because, you know, I introduced it. We had a public hearing in education. No one came to speak against the bill. Yet, I couldn't get a vote in the Education Committee on this bill. So what happened was I had to petition. And it's the first time since 1993 that a Democrat has petitioned a bill. And what that means is I get an automatic vote, or we, as the people, get an automatic vote on this particular bill, raising the age for dropouts. And I had to get 76 Democrats to agree with me that the process should move forward in terms of discussing the dropout age and the whole issue of dropouts in the state of Connecticut. And we did get our 76 votes. We went back to the Education Committee. They still prevented a vote. And, you know, God bless them, but the chairs of education turned around and after that meeting and have worked with me because what we did was we had the bill on the calendar, but we worked together and we got an amendment to another bill that is going to raise the age for dropouts to 17 in the state of Connecticut. It was a compromise. We were looking for 18. We went with 17. I'm going to come back next year. We're going to keep working to get it to 18. But right now, we're very confident that in the state of Connecticut, you won't be able to withdraw from high school until you're 17 years old. It passed the House 130 to 16. And we expect good things to happen in the Senate and the governor to sign this bill. And the reason why it's so important now, and all my friends on Hat City Blog, is, you know what, there's a real correlation, there's a real cost benefit to getting a diploma. If you don't get a diploma going forward, you'll only be able to earn $17,000. What is $17,000 in the state of Connecticut? You know, that ensures that we're going to be giving people food stamps, housing supplemental benefits to keep a house here. We know that incarceration rates are through the roof. If you don't have a high school diploma, guess what? You have like a 50 to 60% probability that you're going to end up in one of these Connecticut prisons. So there's a huge cost-benefit analysis. That's why we work so hard. That's why I petitioned the bill. The achievement gap in the state of Connecticut is the largest in the nation, right here in our state. This will go towards addressing the achievement gap because you know what? It's African Americans, Latinos, and urban whites that are not being educated in the state. And guess what? Those are the same folks that drop out of high school. So, I don't know. I just think that every kid, I don't care if you're a problem kid, I don't care if you've had some behavioral issues, every kid deserves a second chance. Every kid needs to get a high school diploma, and that's why I fought so hard for this bill. That's why I'll continue to fight for these issues, because I don't believe in giving up on teenagers. On some level, we're raising all these standards to drive, to get a license in the state of Connecticut. We got to send parents to a course so they can, you know, become educated about their kids driving. But yet, we're doing easy permission slips and letting kids leave school with no thought. And that's unacceptable. So that's what the bill's been about. I appreciate all the support I've gotten in Greater Danbury on this bill and all the support that I got in the House. We got 130 people to agree. We got people to petition the bill out, and you know, I'm very confident that we're gonna keep moving, making great strides in this issue.
Well, yeah, as somebody who was raised in the greater Hartford area, I know very much about dropouts. I had a lot of friends who dropped out of Hartford Public High School, Weaver High School, Buckley. And you're right. Dropping out of school is the wrong answer, and I know a lot of people give testimony to that. So I thank you very much for that.
One of the things that I learned in this process that I wasn't really aware of was I met a lot of people who dropped out of high school that are adults now. And they are not your stereotypes. They're like hard-working people. And they so regret the fact that they dropped out of high school. In fact, there is a lot of shame. And that shame, being ashamed of dropping out of high school really prevents our brothers and sisters from moving forward. And we need to get rid of that. We need to eliminate the shame. We need to have more conversations with our young people and say, you know what? You have to do this if you want to survive in our society. If you want to be able to make the dollar to provide for your children and to be independent and to make something of yourself, you need to have a high school diploma. And that's really what it's all been about.
One more quick thing. I want to touch on Lyme disease for a second because I did follow you during your interesting campaign, and you brought up Lyme disease as one of your crusades. And I just want to find out how that's going in the Capitol right now. Where does that bill stand?
Well, we're only waiting for the governor's signature at this point. It has been unanimous in the House and unanimous in the Senate. You mentioned in my last campaign, they say, Bartlett, you couldn't get it done on Lyme disease. But you know what? We've been able to educate a lot of legislators, a lot of senators, and quite frankly, I've sat down with the governor's staff, and I think we're going to have a bill. And basically, you know what? We're #1 in the country in terms of the incidence of folks with Lyme disease. You can go out in your backyard right now and unfortunately come back into your house and actually get bit by a tick. And you know, my good colleague, hopefully he doesn't mind me mentioning this, but Representative Liddy, the day that it passed the Senate, was diagnosed with Lyme disease. He had a big rash in the back of his leg and he was in serious pain. And what this bill does is it guarantees Representative Liddy and every other person who unfortunately finds himself diagnosed with Lyme disease, it guarantees that they may be able to get more than 30 days of antibiotics. And in the state of Connecticut, the Department of Health is biased towards doctors that will only prescribe 1 month of antibiotics. But if you get bit and you don't show evidence that you got bit and it stays in your system, hey folks, Lyme disease mimics syphilis. It affects your brain. It affects, you know, all your joints. It is a deadly disease. And so maybe more than 30 days is required. And unfortunately, there's 2 standards of care, and one set of doctors says you can only have 30 days, and another says, oh no, you may need more. And what this bill does, it allows you to get more than 30 days of antibiotics. It guarantees medical access to doctors that are Lyme literate. And I'm very proud of my colleagues for voting for this and moving this bill forward, and I'm very confident the governor will sign it.
Okay. Well, I'm sure the First Selectman of Bethel will send you a thank you note for all the hard work you're doing up here. Well, thank you very much for your time. I'll let you get back to the festivities, and I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us today.
I appreciate you coming out here and talking about all these issues and keeping the people informed. Thanks.
All right. Thank you very much.